Hello, everyone. My name is Artie with Ardent Rodent, here to introduce our newest tool release, the City of Mist Tag Tracker. You can find that on our website, both at the home page and at the tools page, where you can click through and access it. The tool is completely free and hopefully very easy for anyone to use. To give a little bit of background as to why I put this together, our local tabletop role-playing group primarily meets online and is going to be starting a City of Mist campaign. And as we were digging through to try and find out what kind of tools or systems were available to us, we were very fortunate to find that Roll20 has a toolkit for the use of their system. So, I mean, just looking at it, it is pretty surprising the level of detail they decided to go in, which I would find to be above and beyond what anyone would really expect. I definitely think that they have some serious props for going through and making sure that everything works very much like it would in person if you had access to cards like this. It allows you to track all of your powers and tracking cards for conditions or other effects, and so all of it works very well. And I certainly appreciate the efforts they went to make this very accurate to their actual system. As we were digging into it, though, our Master of Ceremonies, which is the Game Master equivalent for City of Mist, did sort of note that there isn't a really clear way to manage non-characters or basically anyone who doesn't require this level of breakdown. NPCs or other characters in the game might not need a full character sheet for every single person, and it might be a little tedious to sort of track this all. So I thought that it might be useful if I were to whip together a little quick program that could do these same functions. And that brings us to the tag tracker. Now, to walk through how someone would go about using this and why it could be helpful, I'll go through a little test sample here. So we're going to create a character. So let's say Travis, that adds a new character to the character list. And the way that City of Mist handles combat and wounds and health the same way as other tabletop role-playing games is it tracks status tags that are applied to spectrums of injury. So in this case, you have physical, psychological, social, and so on. So if someone were to hit Travis as a character, or maybe he's my character or an NPC, with a condition such as punched, and let's say that punched is a tier 2 condition on the physical spectrum, we add that, and he has now been punched, and there's a tier 2 condition. Per the rules of City of Mist, if two conditions of the same value are applied at the same time, so let's say he was kicked, and that is another tier 2 spectrum physical injury, it stacks to go to the next increment. So 2s go to 3s, 3s go to 4, and so on. Because these two abilities stacked equally, I added a little sort of note here with an asterisk that if you wanted, you can click and change the name of that status to, let's say, beaten, so that you now can represent that combined kicked and punched element. Now, if per the rules, you are hit by a lesser status condition, either a 2 or a 1 or something like that, let's say jabbed, and say that's another physical condition. If you are beaten 3 and jabbed, when you add those together, it adds 1 or more increments based on the number of the effect that was added. So beaten increases by 1 increment, but does not turn into a 4. Another 2 1s or 1 2 will then turn you into a 4. If you wanted to change that to a new condition, if beaten is no longer appropriate, you can absolutely change it, but by default it would stay the same. And until the character reaches a state at which they are either defeated, or which normally comes around 6, or if the conditions are sufficient, the character will continue taking on those traumas. If you want to clear them, you can always just delete them, resetting the system. And Then let's say I wanted to track a different condition. So let's say he is scared, and that is applied to his psychological. And then he is, let's say, we'll just say gutted, and we'll say that's a condition 5 in the physical, so he's near death in the physical area. And then let's say in combat he is flanked, which we'll put as a tier 2 combat circumstance. Now, if you want to track other characters, we're going to say bandit and add a new character here. And if I want to track him separately, let's say he is surrounded, and we'll say that's a tier 3 combat circumstance. I can now switch back and forth between my characters, whether I'm the DM or the player, and track all of those things accordingly freely. If you want to delete a character, you can obviously do that and switch back and forth. And if you wanted to save or load from your local files, you can obviously do that as well. As with every tool that I try to release on my site, always let me know if anything could be added or improved to try and make it a better fit for your tabletop experience, either in person or online, and I would be happy to look into that. I really want to make sure that there is always ways that we can make these experiences better and easier. If you have any time and want to look into it further, all my tools are listed online. And if you'd like to support me, please check out my Patreon or buy me a coffee. And I would love to be able to hear what you would like to see in future releases. Thank you very much, and take care.